Good morning. I drank a bottle of wine last night, and then decided this morning that I was going to review Charles Bukowski's Tales of Ordinary Madness. Cliché? Yes. Is he essential? Absolutely. How to get into Charles Bukowski? Well, if at all possible, have 3 drinks beforehand and start at page 1. Read it aloud if you can. My suggestion would be to not take it too seriously until it asks to be taken seriously. Charles Bukowski's parents were German and came over here after having him, finally settling in California. His parents were terrible, and his dad was a stereotypical piece of shit who beat his kid way too much, and Charles Bukowski would later cite that it helped his writing because he began to realize what undeserved pain felt like. So basically, he was a shy kid with a serious depression-fueled rage building up, which would help his material later on. For a lot of his early life, Bukowski was basically what a lot of people would consider a Class A fuck-up. I mean, he actually quit writing for 10 years in what he called a 10-year drunk, or the lost years. His life was basically a slew of alcoholism and bad decisions. Giving up, running away, and kind of just generally trying not to get killed in the process. He essentially abandoned the craft. And that's what I feel is the driving force behind Bukowski's work, for the most part. Abandonment. Abandonment, abandoned by love, abandoned by God, sexual abandonment, and totally abandoned obliteration through booze. And you know what? You get some truly wonderful stories out of it. I don't want to sound too precious about this and take this one with a grain of salt, but there's something kind of Rimbaud about Bukowski in the sense of like imbibing every poison in order to see, like going as far as rock bottom simply because the floor is also a wall and you can break through it to the other side. And so when you've transgressed that far, not only have you broken every rule, but you also know something that others don't. He lived and was influenced and wrote a lot about the city of Los Angeles. He's sort of like your favorite functioning alcoholic friend who will just mutter something absolutely brilliant over his 5th scotch and you'll be sober enough sitting next to him to say, Jesus, Jack, that was brilliant. What'd I say? I also have to really get across that, for all their tragedy, these stories are really, really funny. I mean, they're totally cynical and disillusioned, and they're really harsh and coarse and vulgar and whatever, what have you, but forget all that. I mean, they're really hysterical. I mean, the final story is about a man who thinks that his blanket is trying to kill him, and it is. There are writers who start writing before the bottle of wine, and there's writers who start writing after the bottle of wine. Certainly Bukowski would be the latter, and potentially that sort of allowed him to have this vicious honesty, which really makes his stories. They start off in the best way because it seems like he's just really not trying that hard, and that seems to be his brilliance and his saving grace. Frank walked down the steps. He didn't like elevators. He didn't like many things. He disliked steps less than he disliked elevators. So next time you're having a shit day and you're just thinking, damn, I really need a drink, just grab one and grab Bukowski and put on Brahms' Second Movement. Better than food. Undoubtedly. Enjoy. And always remember what John Waters said. If you go home with somebody and they don't have books, don't fuck them. Have a great day.